Bad start. Pro tip for YouTubers out there. Don't eat buttered popcorn right before you start filming or your voice will go. Hi, I'm Rich Wisniewski. Welcome to Sunday Storytime.
The bananas.
So last week I told a story about the Russian satellites Phobos 1 and Phobos 2. Now they floated off into space and maybe found some aliens. So during the week, using your comments and the Google, I have done some fact-checking. I also spoke to someone who's a bit of an expert on just space and all that fun stuff. They wish to remain anonymous, but with all that information combined, let's see what, if anything, was true from last week's story. And before we start, you can click on the I up here if you want to see the story beforehand, or after this video you can rewind and click on that I again, and then you can see the story armed with the facts. Also, if you'd like, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help. Let's get into the facts. Everything I said about Nassau Community College is true. The team name is the Lions, Trent Webb has coached dozens of award-winning seasons, including one with me, and they do have a radio station. Also, I did go there. The class I took was called Abnormal Science, and it's no longer offered. Probably because talking about pyramids on Earth that exist precisely on opposite ends of the globe, which were built before communication that would be required to do such a thing, while cool, did not help me balance my checkbook. Also, there are no such thing as checkbooks anymore, so I'm old. The pluralization of the Phobos satellites is the Phobos satellites. I did find out that if there's a group of satellites that are working together, it's called a constellation of satellites, and that's pretty cool. The first fact I was incorrect about, and it's a big one, the mission was not to photograph Mars itself, but rather a Martian moon called Phobos and its sister moon Deimos, which is still awesome. The timing was a bit off as well. The Phobos mission was from 1988 to 1989, which, while still technically the Cold War, is not the height of McCarthyism. The Cold War ended in 1991, and was on its way to that conclusion, as evidenced by we were working together on space things. The first digital camera was invented in 1975, and the first precursor to modern ones came out in 1986, but they still weren't prevalent at this time, so sending photos from space to Earth is still cool. Oddly, my explanation of Phobos 1's fate was spot on. I'm going to read directly from the Wikipedia page because it's awesome. On September 2nd, a faulty key command was sent up to Phobos 1 from ground control in Yevpatoria. Yevpatoria. That's probably how you say it, Yevpatoria. A technician unintentionally left out a single hyphen from one of the keyed commands. Now, all commands were supposed to be proofread by a computer before being transmitted, but the computer that checked code was malfunctioning. The technician violated procedure and transmitted the command before the computer could be fixed to proofread it. This minor alteration in code caused the end-of-mission command to reach the spacecraft, shutting down all of the systems aboard Phobos 1. The error is also attributed to a political argument between Yevpatoria and Moscow over who should control the mission. Moscow won control responsibility, but Yevpatoria would be responsible for checking all transmitted commands. This further complicated the process of transmitting valid commands to the spacecraft. After the incident at Yevpatoria, an investigation was immediately ordered to determine who was responsible for the failure. Nevertheless, disciplinary action was postponed until completion of the Phobos 2 mission. The reason why, and I'm going to stop reading, the reason why they decided to postpone any punishment was they were worried about the effect it would have on the morale of the team. Now, even though this is still the Soviet Union, and they solve, disputes over, who left the toilet seat up by just murdering everyone's family, they looked at it and the systems were so poorly designed and executed that the team that was already given the green light to just shoot everyone in the head decided that everyone deserved a pass on this one. Oddly, the description I gave of Phobos 2's fate is pretty spot on as well. Phobos 2 was about to do its last mission, which was to drop to 50 meters from the surface, so it could detach some awesome equipment. It did photograph a cylindrical thing, which had been casting a shadow, and it did then suddenly turn off. The problem is the photos it took were Atari graphics at best. Yes, this is interesting, but it could be literally anything. The Russians admit the equipment wasn't that great, And a lost hyphen shut down the whole satellite before, so it's easy to believe that the satellites went dead for any or no reason. The lack of major advances in space exploration when compared to the massive gains we had made in the 50 years prior can also be explained by the impending end of the Cold War. Once we didn't have an enemy to throw money at to beat, we stopped throwing as much money. Plus, we have made major advances, including gearing up to send a manned space mission to Mars. If they see any obelisk people, though, I reserve the right to jump up and down and say, "I told you so!" As a side note, I've consulted several podcasts, including Jim Cornette's, and they all seem to confirm that Nikolai Volkov was indeed a very nice man. So for a story about the Soviet Union and aliens, not too bad on the fact department. Although not as good as our last one, which you can find by clicking on the I that's over here. Nailed it. Now, To Karen with Love, we are a sketch comedy group, so check out the rest of our videos if you want a good chuckle. We have a brand new sketch posted every Friday in season, and brand new content every day. All of our social media links are down below, including my Twitter, in case you want to reach out and give me any suggestions for some stories I can tell in the future, or just suggestions to make the show better. Tune in next week where I have a brand new story about someone trying to kill the president! For To Karen with Love, I'm Rich Wisniewski. Thank you kindly.